Elizabeth, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
How did you get into theater?
Well, as a kid growing up,
Yeah.
I loved theater, going
Yeah.
to the theater, and so I got involved with being in the theater as doing shows growing up, and then just kind of stayed with me as I grew up, and then I just now like to just get help the kids be in the theater.
Right. So what was the first show you ever did as a kid?
Wizard of Oz.
Oh, really? So you did Wizard of Oz? Well,
Yeah, just when I was really young, like
Right.
doing like a munchkin
right.
kind of thing.
Need lots of munchkins.
Yeah.
So did your parents get you into it, or did you want to do it?
No, I wanted to do it. We had
Really?
a community theater in my neighborhood, so I kind of grew up in that.
So, or were there other things that you enjoyed doing after you, say, got into high school? Did you
Right,
just-
high school we did a Grease,
Okay.
and we did a few dramas,
Right.
but mostly musicals. Musicals
Right.
is my passion.
Okay.
So
Are there particular musicals that you enjoy?
Grease was one of my favorite
Of
because I
course,
love
yes.
the dancing. Bye Bye
Right.
Birdie,
Bye Bye Birdie, yes.
West
Good.
Side Story,
Yes.
all the classics.
Right.
So,
So you've seen some of the newer musicals that are out there, right? Like, say,
like
Wicked. and that kind of stuff?
Wicked's amazing.
Uh-huh.
It's not really new, but Chicago
Yes.
and Mary Poppins, Lion King, Phantom.
Yes. How did you get involved with CYT?
CYT, when we moved here from Louisiana 6 years ago,
Right.
I went to see a CYT production in Spring Woodlands. And I loved it because it was, all kids
Sure.
in it, and all the kids played the adult parts and stuff. And I live out here in Montgomery, and I thought to myself, me and my bright ideas, this would be so cool to have one in CYT in Conroe, Montgomery.
Right.
So we did research. We met with the people who were, a part of CYT
Sure.
at that time, and it just kind of involved it. My husband and I started it out here in the Conroe, Montgomery area.
So how many years did you end up doing? So you started that when?
So it was probably 3 years ago.
Only 3 years ago? Really?
And it's grown. We started off in a church,
Uh-huh.
doing 2 shows in a church,
Yes.
and then we moved here.
Right.
So when we moved here, we felt like big time.
Oh,
because,
absolutely. It's a nice space. You
Yeah,
know, so.
and from a church,
Yes.
this is,
They probably provided you the space relatively inexpensively, if not
Right.
free.
Right.
Right. Probably even have a built-in audience because of the church.
Right.
It helps. It helps out too. But there is something special about the Crighton
It is.
theater. I mean, it's an older place. It needs a lot of tender loving care.
Yeah.
But it's true of all buildings though. The most of what makes the building are the people.
Right.
The people that do stuff here, that
Yeah.
enjoy trying to support it, as you guys do.
Right.
So no, thank you so much for being here, because
Yeah.
it's a welcome addition, certainly to the Crighton family. Absolutely.
Well, we're very blessed to be here, and we're thankful for Mr. Bingham and Stage Right for always being kind of welcoming us with open arms and letting us use y'all's room upstairs.
No problem. No problem.
Always having to kick y'all out. And y'all graciously let us use it when we're here, so we appreciate that.
Absolutely. I mean, are the different CYTs, are they all similar but have their own different character? How does that work?
Right. It's CYT Houston, Christian
Yes.
Youth Theater Houston, and there's one Spring Woodlands, Conroe, Montgomery, and now the newest one in Tomball.
Right.
And they try to keep it kind of the same across the board,
Right.
run the same.
Right.
But each community is different.
Sure.
So they run just a little bit different, but always the same feel. I mean, when you go see the shows, it's very similar.
Yes. Absolutely. Do the kids from one CYT go to other, and not just go, but actually perform in other
Yes,
CYT?
you can.
Yes, okay.
We offer 10-week classes.
Yes.
Each fall, winter, and spring. So the kids you can do a class in Conroe, Montgomery, but go audition for the Spring Woodland show.
Right.
So you can kind of cross over.
Okay.
And-
is that a relatively new thing, or is?
It is new. I think they just started it
Yes.
about a year ago, and it really helps because the kids just go where their favorite show is,
Right.
the show they want to do. It's not
Right.
they're not limited.
Okay. Which is cool because you said there's CYT Houston.
Well,
That's-
Houston's the main one.
The main one.
It's called CYT Houston, and then there's
Right.
3 branches under it.
Okay. So there aren't any actually in the Houston area?
Well, spring,
Really?
Spring is the furthest.
That's really,
Yes,
yes,
yes.
because I know about the ones up here, right? Say the Tomball, let's say the Montgomery,
Yeah.
the Conroe one, and certainly the Woodlands one. But
Right.
I thought maybe there'd be one in, say, Katy or one.
Well,
yeah,
they would
no.
like to branch off and have one in Katy. That is
Right.
their goal one day, and then also Kingwood.
Kingwood, yeah. See, Kingwood, you would think, why not? You know,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And they just last summer they started one in San Antonio.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
So usually when they start off, you start with just having classes.
Yes.
And then like maybe the next session do classes and then do a show.
Sure.
So.
Do you teach classes at CYT?
I used to teach classes. I started off teaching a drama class.
Right.
And then just kind of moved into the directing.
Right.
So sometimes if, they really need someone, a
Right.
director will do both.
Right.
But it's very time consuming, and then,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
directing a show just takes on a lot of responsibility.
Let's talk about real life. What do you do outside of theater?
I'm actually a mom to 3 boys. One's in college and 2 are at home. And this is our second year to homeschool.
Right.
So that keeps me busy,
Absolutely, yeah.
just homeschooling them full time.
So you said you've only been doing this for 2 years?
2 years.
So what made you change?
The kids, they wanted
Really?
to, they said, Mom, can we try homeschool? So I said, sure.
Uh-huh.
And we tried it. We had a lot of friends that did it, so
Sure.
we had a lot of support. And they are, they really like it. They really enjoy being homeschooled. Plus, it gives us more flexibility to go out of town when we need to,
Right.
and when we have tech week, sleep
Right.
in, that kind of thing. Yeah.
So you can work late at night.
Right.
Is this a family affair? I mean, does everyone get involved in CYT in your particular family?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. My kids are involved
Yeah.
in the show. Sometimes only one kid might be involved, but the
Right.
other kid might work backstage, not
Sure.
necessarily be in the show. And then my husband's very supportive at home and here. He'll help backstage or
Right.
work on sets.
Yeah, I thought I saw him backstage.
Yeah.
the other day.
Yeah.
That probably has something to do with you're the director, right?
Yeah. He kind of gets thrown in. It's part of it.
Right. Absolutely. What type of music do you enjoy?
I like Christian music's my favorite.
Okay.
But then, I'll listen to country.
Sure.
If my kids are in the car, they change it to country and
Yeah.
and all those other songs that I don't really. I'm
Any
not
favorite
familiar with
artists?
those. No, not really.
Not really?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we always talk about how country has evolved over the years.
Yes, it
You know,
has.
that what I used to think of as rock of the 70s
Yeah.
is essentially country of today.
Right.
If I listen to it, I'm like, I can't tell the
Right.
difference. It's hard to tell the difference. And that's not to say music shouldn't evolve.
Right.
It just was like, wait a minute, I used to listen to this kind of stuff when
Yeah.
I was, in the 70s, and now it's called country. It used to be called
Right.
rock.
I know. I'm like that with the '80s. Growing up listening to from
Yeah,
the '80s. Now
right.
when I hear the '80s music, I love it. But
Right.
growing up listening to it, I didn't really care for it.
I guess I was kind of way about country music. I never used to
Yeah.
like country music, and now I like it, but I don't know if that's because it has evolved
Right.
or I've just changed too. I
Right.
think it's a little of both.
It
but,
probably is.
but
probably is.
it's, what kind of shows do you see when you're not doing theater? Do you go to Tuts or other
We go to
places?
Tuts.
Yeah.
I love. We went to see Legally Blonde
Yes.
about a month ago, and they did an outstanding job. That was a fun show. Seems like it would be a fun show to do. So we do when we come to Stage Right, we see
Yes.
you guys shows, and y'all do a great job. It's neat to see y'all's shows because they're not all musicals.
Nope.
So it's kind of a different feel when you come.
It's tough because
It
as you
is.
know, musical is a lot of work and very expensive.
Yes.
We look
Yes.
at them and it's like, how does anybody ever afford this?
Right.
But unfortunately, it sells the season, as
Yeah.
you know, right?
Right.
That's why you do musicals. That's why we have to do musicals.
Yeah, that's why-
it sells the season.
right.
But oh my goodness, they're expensive.
They are expensive.
and it's a lot of effort.
And also, sometimes if a show is not that great, like drama-wise, you
Right.
could cover it up with the singing and the dancing.
Exactly,
So when you
exactly.
do just straight drama, the drama's got to be good.
It's
Because you'll put your
tough.
audience to sleep.
It is tough. And I know we have a lot of actors that they want to do drama, but it's not necessarily what people want to see.
Right.
I'm not saying no one wants to see it,
Right.
but in numbers that is commercially viable. And I know that some people it's a dirty word, but if you can't pay your bills, you know what? Like our
Right.
country,
Right.
it just you're out of business.
Right.
So but I know you guys have been fabulously successful. You got huge groups to come. What is the secret to volunteerism? I mean, because I know there are a lot of volunteer groups, not just theater groups, but all volunteer groups.
Right.
Sometimes they'll say, we're doing okay, and then
Yeah.
others, it seems like volunteer groups are having a hard time.
Right.
What would you tell them? So how do you keep your volunteers motivated?
I think it's because it's family oriented.
Mm-hmm.
We couldn't do on the show without our parents being involved.
Yes.
We have all the moms working costumes and dads working sets, and
Right.
just it's kind of a family affair.
Absolutely.
So that really helps a lot.
I think it's important. Like I said, especially in today's age where it seems like family almost is like a dirty word or something like
Right.
that. I mean, we supposedly promote family values, but when you see what our society does, no, we
Right.
don't. And so it's nice, it's refreshing to see
Yeah.
groups that promote not just in name, but actually in deed,
Right.
and do that.
Yeah.
Any shows that you'd like to do that you haven't done yet?
Well, one show I'd like for CYT to do, or just to do in general, would be West Side Story.
Yes.
I know right now I think you can't get the rights for it.
Oh, really?
So,
is it on tour or something?
It's on
Yeah,
tour.
probably. Yeah.
But West Side Story would be a good one. And Bye Bye Birdie.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, some of those are a little risque, so I don't necessarily know if CYT will ever do them. But I think those would be a good crowd pleaser, as well as, that get the
Sure.
kids. My Fair Lady's a good one.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that has been done in a
So-
while. Actually, I'm not sure who's done that around here in a while.
Yeah.
It's cool. All right, we asked the question: if heaven exists, what do you want God to say when you get to the pearly gates?
If I would want him to say, "Well done, my good and faithful servant," and then let me in the gates.
That's right. I'll give you a hug and say, "Hey, we're doing some shows. You still want to do something?"
Joseph, that was a fun show.
Yes.
I don't know if you're familiar with that one.
I'm familiar with the show. You guys have, and when we look at that, when we look at the sets that you guys do, or even the stuff that you do, we're like, how did they, was it the clock that was made out of foam? Do you remember? I don't remember what show that was. It was like, how did they do that? Or the Sphinx?
Yeah, the Sphinx was
Oh my
fun. Well, and that's a dad that just is so talented artistically that he just created that.
How did they do that? It's amazing. No, you guys do some fabulous stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. And thanks for bringing different folks, because you do bring different folks
Yeah.
to the Crighton. So absolutely, thank you. Yeah, we got, I think, over 35,000 people a year through here, which
Wow.
it makes it, you
That's
can't
awesome.
compare with just about any theater in the greater Houston area.
Right,
Other than the professionals,
right.
It's just amazing. So, and you're part of it, and we're glad to have you as part of
Thank
that
you.
family. So
Thank you.
thanks for being with us, and we'll see you around.
Thank you. Appreciate the time.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.